Good morning. So it's always been very important to me that my artwork be both personal and universal. A lot of my ideas come from my memories, my family history, but I strive to be vulnerable and to leave a space where my private space connects with your private space. Additionally, materials are very important in my work. I try to find materials that have their own history, to have their own inherent meaning. And I want them to speak just as clearly as the objects that I'm making. I also have infinite curiosity, and I've been researching topics such as neuroscience, memory function, and the natural sciences. So currently, one of my fascinations is magnetic fields, which have just almost this magical quality to them. And right now, I'm creating an installation down at Linfield College, and the installation is made out of 1,100 magnets. And so, as you can see, they look like they're hovering in space. And the way that I created this is that half of the magnets are hovering in space, ceiling, and then the other half are tethered to the floor. So the top magnet holds up the bottom magnet, and it creates a plane of space that's at eye level. So this is it from above, and then from eye level, so that there's sort of this synaptic gap in between the two layers. For the TEDx background, I wanted to create something that resonated both a sense of astounding natural beauty as well as being relevant to our time. And so I was kind of looking at magnetic fields of the sun. And the sun's magnetic fields rotate on an 11-year cycle. And so just to explain a little bit about how it works, the equator of the sun rotates much, much faster than the poles of the sun. And so over time, the magnetic fields, those lines start to twist and turn and get strung like a rubber band. And about every 11 years, they are so taut that they start to snap and they start to break out into space. And so these solar fields, they escape from the sun and they rush across the universe as these solar winds. There we are. So some solar flares there. And so the solar winds go through space as these charged particles. And when they hit the Earth's upper atmosphere, they collide with all of these neutral particles in our atmosphere. And that starts to excite them. And there's a view of it from space. And so these excited particles, they eventually start to lose their charge. And during that process, they emit a certain wavelength, and thus the lights of the Aurora Borealis. It's really, really similar to how, say, a neon light discharges light. And the Aurora Borealis has such a source of folklore and mythology throughout cultures all around the northern regions. There's wonderful stories of thoughts of omens, of gods at play or at war, or my favorite is the idea of souls dancing. Now, unfortunately, in Oregon, we're a little too far south to see them frequently, but it does happen. So we'll just cross our fingers and hopefully maybe we'll see them if the rain clears up. So for the background of this, what I did was I used welded steel. And it might be a little hard to see from where you're sitting, but a lot of the panels are filled with different translucent papers. And I wanted the light to emit through them. And then some of the sections are packed full of acupuncture needle tubes that I collected from clinics around town. And I really love the idea of reusing materials and using them in artwork instead of that going into a landfill. But more than just recycling, I wanted to use acupuncture needle tubes for a very, very personal reason. So as I said before, materials have a strong meaning in my work. So in 2004, I was in a very serious accident. It was 1 month to the day after my mom passed away, and I was hit head-on by a drunk driver. And I would show you pictures of the vehicle, but it looks like a wad of tin foil, and they're pretty gruesome. But needless to say, it was really miraculous that I walked away. And I don't know how much I believe in an afterlife, but I feel like my mom was there to save me. And so walked away in one piece, but ever since then I've had chronic back pain. And one of the things that I have found to be the most helpful in my recovery and healing has been acupuncture. And so I wanted to take this material that has such a personal meaning to me and put it into the piece, because that accident was a turning point in my life. After that time, I wanted to grasp every single day, and I wanted to relentlessly pursue my passions and my artwork. So, thank you.